Super Mario Bros. Movie really knocked it out of the park when it came to giving fans what they love. It wasn't just the animation or the catchy soundtrack that won audiences over. It was the fact that the film embraced the entire world of the video game franchise and brought in a whole bunch of familiar characters, from Mario and Luigi to Donkey Kong, Toad, and Princess Peach. The movie worked hard to make sure fans felt right at home, and clearly, that approach worked, because the film went on to earn over $1 billion globally. Even though it included a generous lineup of characters, the film still left room for more additions, especially now that a sequel is officially in the works. That opens the door for even more legacy characters to jump into the action, which is exciting for longtime Mario fans and new viewers alike. Among those highly requested additions, Wario and Waluigi. These two have always had a wild, over-the-top energy in the games, and putting them on the big screen could seriously freshen things up. Fans have loved them for years because they're chaotic, hilarious, and very different from villains like Bowser. Wario and Waluigi tend to cause all kinds of mischief, and imagining them stirring up trouble in this colorful animated world just sounds like a blast. Now, Jack Black's Bowser is expected to return as the main villain, and that makes sense. He's the most iconic bad guy in the Mario franchise, and his performance was a huge part of the original movie's success. But just relying on Bowser again might end up feeling repetitive. That's why bringing in Wario and Waluigi could help keep things feeling fresh. They're not just new faces, they also offer completely different personalities. Bowser is menacing and theatrical, but Wario is more greedy and selfish, while Waluigi is this bizarre, chaotic wild card. So adding them would shift the tone and dynamics of the sequel in fun new directions. Plus, Wario's iconic mine from the games could introduce a brand new location for the characters to explore. That would help expand the world even more. And the film could use the two either as Bowser's new allies or set them up with their own separate storyline. Either way, they'd create a new challenge for Mario and Luigi, which could help raise the stakes while keeping the plot from feeling too familiar. Speaking of Luigi, one of the biggest upsides to adding Wario and Waluigi is how it could give Luigi a bigger role this time. In the first movie, Luigi was sidelined for a good chunk of the story. While that worked narratively, it also meant he didn't get to show off as much as Mario did. But with these two villains involved, especially Waluigi, there's a great opportunity for Luigi to face a direct threat and step more confidently into the spotlight. It would let his character grow in a serious way, especially since he's usually portrayed as more timid and unsure of himself.
Mario, you just don't know when to quit. I've been told that before.
This added focus on Luigi could be a great way to build momentum for a potential spin-off starring him. After all, if audiences respond well to a more proactive version of Luigi, he could easily carry his own adventure down the line. It would also deepen the relationship between Mario and Luigi. One of the criticisms of the first film was that the brothers spent too much time apart, so letting them work side by side against a duo like Wario and Waluigi would help reinforce that strong brotherly bond and give both of them more screen time together. Not only would Wario and Waluigi bring new action, they'd also inject more humor into the sequel. The first movie already had plenty of jokes and goofy moments, which helped it feel lighthearted and family-friendly. But these two are just naturally funny in how exaggerated and absurd they are. They're not exactly scary villains. They're more like lovable troublemakers. That means they could balance out Bowser if he returns with a more intense storyline. While Bowser goes dark and dramatic, Wario and Waluigi could keep things light and zany, which would give the movie a nice emotional range. There's also a fun idea that Wario and Waluigi might be from the human world too, just like Mario and Luigi. If that were the case, the sequel could use them to connect the Mushroom Kingdom and Earth more deeply, or even explore how different people end up in that universe. It would be a cool twist, and help the movie dig a little deeper into the lore of this animated world. But villains aren't the only thing that the sequel could expand on. Princess Peach's backstory was briefly teased in the first movie, and fans definitely noticed. While we see Peach as this strong and capable leader, the film reveals that she doesn't actually know where she came from. She arrived in the Mushroom Kingdom as a baby and was raised by the Toads, which raises a big mystery. Is she really from that world, or somewhere else entirely? That mystery wasn't addressed further in the first film, which felt intentional. It left the door wide open for the sequel to explore it in more detail. Since the filmmakers chose to include that bit of history, it seems like they're setting up something more significant for Peach in the future. That makes the idea of exploring her origins one of the most intriguing possibilities for the next movie. Because Mario and Luigi's background was already covered in the first film, it wouldn't make sense to revisit it. But Peach's past? That's untouched territory. The sequel could center on her journey to discover where she really comes from, and that could lead the characters into completely new worlds. It would also give Peach the chance to step outside her comfort zone. In the first movie, she was the one showing Mario around and guiding him through the Mushroom Kingdom. But what if the roles were reversed this time? What if she needed help navigating a place she didn't recognize? That kind of role reversal could add a lot of depth to her character and make her feel even more fleshed out. If the filmmakers plan on developing Peach and Mario's relationship further, revealing that she might be human could give that arc more emotional weight. It would also be fun to see Peach visit the human world and react to all the strange, everyday things we take for granted. That contrast could open the door to more comedy, while also giving her a chance to grow. Another great benefit to exploring Peach's origins is that it would let the film introduce even more characters from the games. For example, Daisy is someone fans have been hoping to see in the movies, and this would be the perfect chance. Since Daisy and Peach are often paired together in the games, and some people even speculate they might be sisters, the sequel could bring Daisy in as someone from the same homeland as Peach. That would be an easy way to add her into the story while making it feel meaningful. Then there's Rosalina, a major character from Super Mario Galaxy. She's got a unique vibe, more cosmic and mysterious than the others, which would expand the universe of the film dramatically. Some fans have speculated that Rosalina and Peach might be related too, so the movie could even use that theory as a plot point. Rosalina's inclusion could help take the franchise in a new direction, especially if the filmmakers want to raise the stakes and give the sequel a bigger, more galaxy-spanning scale. Bringing in these characters would do more than just expand the cast. It would make the sequel feel like the next logical step in a much larger universe. And for a franchise as massive and beloved as Super Mario, that kind of growth is essential, as long as the sequel hits the same notes as the first one. Charming humor, bold animation, and clever nods to the games, it could absolutely lead to even more movies in the future. So while the Super Mario Bros. Movie was a massive success, the upcoming sequel has a ton of exciting potential, with characters like Wario, Waluigi, Daisy, and Rosalina still waiting in the wings, plus the unresolved mystery around Princess Peach. There are plenty of threads to pull. If Illumination can tie all these elements together while keeping the humor and heart that made the first film so beloved, the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 could end up being even bigger and maybe even more beloved than the original. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.